If you have a bottom loading bobbin machine, one with a bobbin case like this, you may be able to adjust your bobbin tension. That doesn't mean you have to or even want to adjust your bobbin tension. Before I go any further, I'm going to say that if you have a top loading bobbin machine, you probably cannot adjust your bobbin tension, so you should probably just stop watching this video right now. These tension adjustments have to be done by the technicians. They have a special tool that is used to adjust the bobbin tension and special little devices to measure the bobbin tension. So that's set at the factory and done by the technicians and generally never needs to be adjusted unless you have to take your machine in for service. So if you have a top loading bobbin machine, you can just stop watching this video now. For those that have a bottom loading bobbin machine, there are really only two reasons why I would ever think about adjusting a bobbin tension in a machine like this. The first is if you have a vintage or a used machine that you've inherited and the bobbin case has been adjusted by someone else and you need to set it back to right. So if you've got a used machine that the needle tension is adjusted all the way tight or all the way loose and it's never worked for you and you just really feel like there's something not right, you may want to check the bobbin tension to see if that's what's going on. The second reason would be is if you want to use specialty threads. You might want to adjust the tension in your bobbin to accommodate these special threads. For instance, this thread that I have in here right now is a very thin thread that I use for piecing. So I have my bobbin adjusted to accommodate very, very thin thread. It's adjusted so that it would be a little too tight for regular thread, but it's the right tightness, it's the right tension for this thinner thread. In this instance, though, many people buy an extra bobbin case for this. The original bobbin case that came with the machine, they don't touch. They just use that for their regular sewing, and then they use the one that they bought and they play with that for their specialty threads. That way they know they always have a bobbin case that they can use that works, that's set right for their regular threads. So be forewarned, you don't need to do this most likely. This is just information because I know sometimes there are machines out there that have been messed up by other people playing with the bobbin tension screw or you just want to play with specialty threads and you'd like to be able to adjust your bobbin tension to make those work better. So the very first thing to note is to work over a soft surface. You are going to be dropping your bobbin case. You don't want it to be landing on a hard surface and getting dented. If it gets dented, the bobbin is not going to spin freely in it, and then you won't be able to sew until you buy a new bobbin case. And depending on your manufacturer, this bobbin case could be very expensive. And more than that, depending on your machine, if it's a vintage machine, it could actually not even be available anymore. So take good care of your bobbin case. I like to recommend to do this over a sofa because you're going to be dropping and playing with your bobbin case a lot, and it's nice to be able to stand over a sofa and try this experiment. So the first step is to thread your bobbin case. If your manual tells you to have it spin in a certain direction, make sure it's spinning in the right direction. And then it needs to go however it's supposed to under whatever tension like spring it's supposed to go under. That's how mine gets threaded. And then you're going to hold it by the thread and lift it up and then jerk the thread and see if it falls. It should fall slightly and stop. Fall slightly and stop. I lifted it up. I'm going to jerk the thread a little bit and it falls. But it doesn't keep falling all the way down. But it does fall a little bit. It's just so scientific. So I'm just giving a little jerk with my hand. 1, 2, 3, jerk. And it falls a little bit. But if I just hold it, it doesn't fall all the way down. Right? It will stay right there. But if I give it a little jerk, it falls a little bit. That's the correct tension. If it falls all the way down, the tension is too loose. If it doesn't move at all when you jerk it, then the tension is too tight. If your bobbin is really the problem of the tension, this will be pretty obvious. It will either be falling all the way down or it will not be budging. So if it seems like it's doing a little moving, it's falling a little bit, then it's probably okay and you don't need to do anything. If it's either not falling at all or falling all the way down instantly, you can make an adjustment. Before you make this adjustment, please do check your manual to make sure your manufacturer wants you to make this adjustment. Make sure it's something that's on the list of things that you're supposed to do. You can also check with your local dealer. They might have a special gauge that they will check your bobbin tension for you. So you don't necessarily have to do this adjustment by yourself. You can just stop at the checking to see if it seems reasonable and then take it into your dealer to have the adjustment made. If you're ready to actually adjust your bobbin tension, this is generally the way you do it, but again, check your manual. It's usually a righty-tighty, lefty-loosey adjustment, so you'll need to find the little screw that's associated with the spring that the thread is going under. And at least on my case, it's a righty-tighty, so when you make these adjustments, you put your screw in, and it's a little tiny adjustment, like that much of an adjustment would make it tighter, and that much of adjustment would make it looser. And then you'd check it again to see if it's dropping just a little bit. Make sure it's not dropping all the way or being completely stuck and not dropping. You'd retest it. And again, remember, this is not something that you necessarily have to do. It might be easier to go take it into your dealer, have them check it to see if the bobbin tension seems to be correct. Once you've ensured that your bobbin tension is correct, you can go back to checking and adjusting your needle tension. And again, if tension adjustments aren't working, there's probably something else that you're missing on your machine that needs to be fixed or put back in place so that your machine works correctly.